Welcome to PastMaster, the show that reshapes history with the help of our AI-powered Game Master. On this week's episode, we travel back to ancient times to give Keon a lesson in Greek mythology.
Maybe I'll be Achilles, you can be Patroclus.
Oh, these people. Oh, I thought they were like roles, like Achilles, like he kills. Achilles.
Yeah, have you heard of the Achilles heel? Like that was his weak spot.
Why, what's wrong with it?
Well, because when his mother was washing him, she held him by his ankles, and it was the river that gave him his power because she was holding him by his Achilles. That bit didn't get washed by the water, and so that's where he was weak.
Slightly reckless way to wash a baby. You know?
Hold it by the Achilles and swipe it around.
Holding it underwater, like, it's like sort of done. Right. And we find out who can build the best Trojan horse.
I think why stop at a horse? I'm thinking bigger, I'm thinking better, I'm thinking a Trojan brontosaurus that shoots bats out of its mouth. I think you can get a lot more of your army into a diplodocus or a brontosaurus than you can a horse.
Does it have to be an animal?
I guess it doesn't.
Well, it's a Trojan.
Wait till your turn.
Yeah.
But then you can make what you want, like a Pizza Hut or something. So I want
Kebab fan.
Trojan kebab fan.
Let me in, I've got kebabs. Guys, welcome back to the Hen and Hounds. How you feeling?
Very good. Pleasure to be here.
Pumped up, pumped up.
Very pumped up.
Always ready.
Well, speaking of pumped up, I've had to buy some new trousers because my calorie counting has continued and all my trousers didn't fit me anymore. They just kept literally falling down.
Wait.
So, new trousers all round. Happy days.
So you didn't just AI slim yourself?
Is that the whole story? I thought you were going to have like an anecdote about it. So I went to buy them. No, that's just the story.
That is the story.
Got some new trousers.
Tan is very much on brand with the shit chat.
How are you? I got the memo.
Some new trousers. Cool. Are you happy? Are these the ones?
These ones. They haven't fallen down yet, as you can see.
No, I haven't noticed them falling down.
They've stayed up.
So that's.
I mean, to be fair,
purpose.
he has been sitting this whole time.
Yeah. Let's get him to stand up. Do that challenge.
How about anyone else? How's your training going, Keon?
Yeah, I mean, I've been buying some running shorts.
Oh, are you going through the phases of runner? So when you first go for a run, it's just like cotton t-shirt and stuff. And then you're like, yeah, I need like sweat wicking clothes. And then
100%.
I need like ridiculously expensive trainers. Yeah.
These will make me more air light, streamline.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah. So
the next level above that is if you start doing trail running and then ultra running. And it's like the amount of equipment that you're like, I think I need some like carbon fiber running poles. And I do think I need some, but they're quite expensive. And I did one ultra.
What are they, running poles?
Yeah, for like...
Oh, like going up hills and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they help?
They do. When you're going up, like I did it in the Alps, and you're going up 3,000 meters, and you're using your arms like legs. You're like,
Okay.
But you're like... 20-year-old Ryan would have been like, you fucking prick. But nearly 40-year-old Ryan is like, yeah, I'd accept it. You get into your 30s, you start running, you start a podcast. It's just what you do.
100%.
So a bit of AI chat. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but there was a bioscientist who's been studying superbugs for like decades, basically. And he's been trying to find out why some superbugs are immune to antibiotics.
Yeah.
And he's come up with this idea after about 10 years. It's been really, really useful. And he got hold of this, I think it's called Science Assistant or something from Google, or co-scientist. And he just typed in a little prompt, and over 48 hours, it came up with the exact same answers as he did, and also solved some other problems as well. So I think that's a real tick in the box for AI being quite useful. But spare a thought for the doctor. It's a bit deflating that you can spend your whole life solving this problem, and then an AI can just do it over a weekend and a load of other stuff as well.
Needs to get a new job.
Done himself out of a job there, hasn't he?
I think I read that. I think he was quite excited though. He was like, "This is amazing." Or maybe he's like saying that out loud and behind his mouth. He's like,
shit. Because I think he said he was shopping, wasn't he? And he got the news, and he told the person he was shopping with, "Sorry, I need to just go and have a sit down and just digest this. It's just too much to take in."
What do you think would be the equivalent in your world of work where something has happened that you're like, I spent ages writing that review or?
I don't think I've spent long enough on anything to be really seriously deflated about AI doing it quicker.
Yeah, I bounce around too much. There's the one thing that was my thing. I don't have a thing.
I haven't spent 10 years on a monument to my work life, no. So what are we doing today, Ryan? We've got a battle-themed episode, is that right?
I thought so. I thought we've done a couple of player versus player episodes. I feel like there's a lot more to explore there.
Okay.
Last time we did it, I made it ridiculously complicated. And I was trying to like control 2 different chatbots. So I wanted to have another go just in one. And I've crafted a prompt that does work, touch wood, on just one chatbot.
Okay.
So I thought we would go and we would do Tan v Keon. And we were talking the other day about what could we do in a 2-player adventure. And one of the things that I thought would be quite funny to explore would be going to the Battle of Troy and seeing who can build the best Trojan horse.
Nice.
So
Hang on a minute.
Who's
Got a lot
Troy?
of questions
Who's
there.
Troy?
Who is Troy? And isn't the Trojan horse something that your computer gets infected with?
it is your computer can get infected with the Trojan horse because a Trojan horse is something that you might download onto a computer and don't realise it's actually full of viruses.
Looks safe, but on the contrary, it's full of Greek warriors.
Exactly. So the original Battle of Troy was won when they said, the Greek army retreated. And they're like, you guys win. Here's a lovely horse for you guys to have. And the horse was filled with like the elites, like SAS Greek soldiers.
For real?
Wheeled it in. And then in the middle of the night, they came out of the horse and they opened the Troy and then...
And that's why they're called Trojan horses on your computer?
Yeah.
that's why they're called Trojan horses on your computer.
Wow.
But I think it's not 100% clear that that's exactly what happened. Some people might think it might be a bit, allegorical or metaphorical.
Have you been doing research again?
I've been doing some
He
research.
loves it. He actually, people like history, weirdos.
There's notes in his notebook again.
Oh, he's done it again.
But saying that, most of my knowledge of Troy does come from the film Troy, which I think you guys have possibly not seen.
I imagine you definitely haven't seen. Is that Brad Pitt?
No.
It's Brad Pitt, yeah.
Okay.
So Brad Pitt is playing Achilles, this sort of almost godlike warrior for the Greek army. And I really like it because he's sort of doing quite a lot of bad accents in it. And they're supposed to be doing this sort of British accent thing that they use for Gladiator, all the rest of it, just to give it a sort of military dignity for sword and sandal epics. And at one point, they're trying to find him, and because he's such a lad, he's in a tent with these 2 ladies, and he's asleep when he should be fighting, and they wake him up, and Brad Pitt goes, I was having a good dream. I mean, a very good dream. Terrible British accent.
Why
is
that? I mean, because obviously they wouldn't have had a British accent. I mean, they wouldn't be speaking English. Like, why is that the default for?
I guess because the English language is what people internationally speak these days, and British, I suppose, like British English, it's sort of. Probably, does it have a sort of a sort of perceived dignity and kingliness to it? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who knows?
Don't look at me. I give it no dignity.
You give it no dignity.
I do it no dignity.
What would you say you contribute?
Butcher it.
You butcher it. That's where my knowledge of Troy comes from, and in the film they do indeed have this Trojan horse, which they wheel in, and the Trojans fall for it.
That's so cool.
Idiots.
So, what did you want to do about that?
What have you got in mind, Ryan?
Well, if you guys are up for it, we'll go to Troy. Presumably you'll both be in the Greek army, I was going to say maybe one of you could be Achilles, but is that too much of an advantage?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be Achilles. You can be Patroclus.
Oh, these people.
They're people.
Oh, I thought they were like roles, like Achilles, like he kills. Achilles.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, have you heard?
That was the name of someone.
Someone's
Achilles.
name. Yeah. Have you heard of the Achilles heel?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's from him. Like that was his weak spot. Was his heel.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Well, because when his mother who was a goddess, was washing him in the river, like she held him by his ankles, and it was the river that gave him his power, and made him invulnerable. And because she was holding him by his Achilles, well, it wasn't called that then, but the back of his ankle, back of his foot, that bit didn't get washed by the water, and so that's where he was weak, and he got an arrow through the Achilles.
Couldn't she
and
have
died.
got her hand a bit wet?
You'd have thought so, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? But no, she
But
just
also
overlooked it.
Slightly reckless way to wash a baby.
Hold it by the Achilles and swipe it around.
Holding it underwater. Like, it's like sort of done. Right, out.
So that's where the phrase Achilles heel comes from.
Because your Achilles heel is something that's weak.
A weakness, yeah.
A weakness, my Achilles heel.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, I never knew that.
There you go.
We're going to do Claude again.
Yeah, back to Claude.
We've gone elsewhere, and every time the grass has not been greener on the other side, so we are back with Claude. Who wants to be player one?
Can I be player one Achilles and Keon can be Patroclus?
Sure.
Do you want to be like Tancales or something?
Yeah,
or?
Tancales.
I'll just be Patroclus.
What about Keoncales?
Yeah.
Keoncales.
Keoncales.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. I'm going to be stumbling over reading this out.
Yeah, that's mainly why I said it. I want you to attempt to say that every time.
Okay.
Where is this river with the special water? Can I go there?
It's the River Styx. Yeah, he was dipped in the River Styx by his mother, Thetis, to make him immortal. And it's a river that runs through the underworld, so you'd have a job to get there.
Oh, how do they get there?
Well, they're gods. They can do what they want.
Okay.
What special knowledge or skills do you have? Have you each got? Tancles, start with you.
My special knowledge is
Or skills.
a C in design technology GCSE. That's literally what I've got, which is appalling, frankly.
I got a C.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, at least we're going to be evenly matched.
No, I didn't do design technology. I did food technology.
Oh, well, that's going to be you. How's that going to apply here? I suppose you could serve up pizzas as
you've got to eat right.
Do you want to put that as your...
Yeah, C in food technology.
Maybe you could serve up sort of winning congratulatory pizzas to the Trojans.
I don't think I ever made a pizza. I made cupcakes and scones a lot. Did a lot of bread-based things. I made buns a lot. Just telling you all the things I made in food tech. Got to eat.
You've got to eat.
So at this point, I should let you know, I made some slight tweaks to the prompts. I was trying to get the instructions that we give to the AI to work for two players. One of the changes I made was in the opening questions when it asks, what should Game Master embody? I said, embody something, don't ask us, but just come up with something yourself and don't tell me what it is. So a bit of a throwback to when we used to do that. And we don't have to guess, so you don't get any points or anything. But
if we can, if we want.
Maybe we can have a go. AI has come along a long way, because it used to just forget. So I wonder if there is a person.
Okay.
We'll see. So this is Claude's top tier Claude still. So it is better. But anyway, I see. So Keoncles has a background in food technology. Tancales has a passing grade in design technology, giving you foundational knowledge of materials construction. Keoncles, maybe you could sustain soldiers hidden inside. So, it's playing with what you got.
I'm fueling them with the right nutrition to go to war.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a quick reminder on how this works. We've created a set of instructions that we give to an AI tool like ChatGPT. And this essentially tells it all of the rules of the game. The AI then acts as our game master and it decides what happens after each action that we give it. One of us will be the player, and one of us will read out what the game master says, complete with terrible attempts at accents. It's a bit like the original text-adventure RPG games, or one of those choose-your-own-adventure books where you have various options on how to proceed. Only with the AI, it's open-ended, so anything can happen, and usually does. So, shall we dive in?
Yes.
Do it.
Let's do it. Welcome to PastMaster, my dear contestants.
Thank you, Game Master.
Today we find ourselves in the sun-drenched shores of ancient Troy. Approximately 1200 BC, where two modern minds will attempt to outdo each other in creating history's most famous military deception. Marvellous!
That's very chipper, isn't it?
Yeah.
I missed the instructions, but it said Game Master adjusts his ornate bow tie and clears his throat dramatically, so... Tancales and Keoncles, you stand before the mighty walls of Troy, with the Greek camp spread across the beach behind you, and for 10 long years the Greeks have besieged this city, all for the sake of the beautiful Helen. Blood has been spilled, heroes have fallen, and now it is up to you to craft the wooden contraption that will finally end this dreadful stalemate. So your objective, design and build the most effective Trojan horse capable of deceiving the Trojans.
Did you say we're trying to win over Helen or something?
Yeah, so she was like this fit.
So that's who
woman.
we're fighting. We're fighting for
Yeah.
someone. Is that actually what the Battle of Troy was? They were fighting for women.
Well, possibly there was more to it than that, but in theory, she was the face that launched 1,000 ships. Have you heard that saying? No. She was the princess of Greece, and Paris played by Orlando Bloom, aka Legolas. He popped over there and like had his way with Helen, whisked her away back to Troy, and her husband was absolutely furious. He hit the roof, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then he was like, right, I'm not having this. We're going to war. We're going to get Helen back.
Wow.
So think Towie, but with a bigger budget.
Yeah, drama.
Yeah. So it's giving you're going to be evaluated on deceptiveness, functionality, structural integrity, and
Sure.
strategic implementation of this.
Both of us, or just...
Yeah. You're each building your own horse.
Why would it just be me? Stop trying to get out
I
of
thought
it.
it might be different tasks, specific
You've got
to
a
our skills.
food-based
So,
task.
You're doing that, and I'm doing like a bake-off challenge. Paul Hollywood's going to assess my apple crumble.
Apple crumble served to the victory crumble for the Greeks. It's full of poison. Right.
You each have one life. Be careful with your choices.
One life, okay.
So Tankiles, with your designer technology background, you're up first.
Sure.
What is your initial approach?
So I presume I'm some sort of architect or engineer in the Greek army. So what I'm going to say is, guys, I've got this great idea. Now, I know someone has been working on this Trojan Horse, we're calling it. I think, why stop at a horse? I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking better. I'm thinking a brontosaurus, Trojan brontosaurus, that shoots bats out of its mouth. Because you can get more men in a brontosaurus than a horse. You know what a brontosaurus? You know a brontosaurus.
It's a type of dinosaur.
It's the, you know, the one, it's like got the big sort of bubble body and then a long neck and a long tail.
Yeah.
Think how many men you could get in the neck and the tail. I think you can get a lot more of your army into a diplodocus or a brontosaurus than you can a horse.
Depends how big you make it, though.
Enormous, absolutely enormous. Like the biggest dinosaur you could ever imagine.
Yeah. I think Titanosaur was the
Titanosaur.
bigger than Brontosaurus.
Well, I'd like a titanosaur then.
Does it have to be an animal?
I guess it doesn't.
Well, it's a Trojan.
Wait till your turn.
Yeah.
Then you can make what you want, like a Pizza Hut or something. So I want
Kebab fan!
Trojan kebab van.
Let me in, I've got kebabs.
What's not to like? I love that, Keon. But yeah, for mine, I am going to stick with the animal motif, and I want a titanosaur that shoots bats out of its mouth, and the bats will be Greek warriors wearing wings.
Okay.
Elite Greek warriors wearing
right.
wings.
Have you planned this, or have you just thought that at the top of your head? Because that's pretty remarkable if you have.
I've had a think earlier about the dinosaur, and the bats has just come to me now.
So where's it shooting the bats from?
Out of its mouth.
Out of its mouth.
Yeah.
But the animal, the Trojan, is just a shell for something to hide all.
Yeah,
the
it's like an Easter egg.
But you're using it as an actual like fighting machine.
Yeah, why stop at deceit?
Right.
Turn up the utility. So initially it's deceptive, and then when all hell breaks loose, you've got Greek warriors flying out of its mouth with little like sort of squirrel, those wingsuits. So they're like flying around down to the ground, granted, but they're really causing chaos in Troy. It's going to speed up the battle.
Okay, is that it? Anything else?
And I will use egg boxes to soundproof the inside of it so that it muffles all the chit chat and the tittering that will no doubt be happening inside the titanosaur.
What, they're like kids playing hide and seek.
Quiet. Shush, shush, shush. They're wheeling us in. Shush, shush, shush. Yeah, basically.
God, how am I going to compete with that?
Well, you've got
That's
a
pretty-
kebab van.
My kebab van is going to pull you down.
And I don't want to, talk down people who got C's in their design technology, but it's not an A, is it? So I imagine your kebabs are going to be functional, but not like, a la carte.
Funnily enough, we never made kebabs in GCSE food tech. That one didn't do that module.
It's a good meal, though, isn't it? A kebab.
Is it?
I think so. It's hearty fare.
Oh, in this country.
All right, I'm not going to read out what it said.
Okay.
I'll do that in a sec.
Sure.
So, Keon Cleese, your turn.
I'm not going to make a kebab fan.
Oh.
Because that's just absurd. Instead, it's going to be a...
So you can't go bigger, like, unless you come up with like Godzilla or something. So you can go in a different direction though.
Yes. It's going to be a chocolate factory.
Right.
But the chocolate is poisonous.
So a Trojan chocolate factory.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that they're going to wheel into the city.
Yeah, it's like a big fondue.
One of those fountains.
Yeah,
a chocolate
yeah,
fountain. Okay. How are you going to make that?
With my skills and food technology, thank you very much.
What about maybe like a pizza house? Like just everything's like balanced up. I know, but then where do you hide the people?
What's wrong with my chocolate fondue?
No, it's good.
Okay. you have to hide people in, do you?
Yeah, it's a giant fountain. We're all underneath. They're in the fountain. They're inside.
And they shoot out with the chocolate.
The chocolate gets people to come over, and then they taste it, and it's poisonous.
Okay.
So they die.
Is it quite quick acting poison?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it'll be very obvious
got
quite
rice
early on,
in it.
won't it?
Rice is slow acting. I've
Is
just
it?
watched Breaking Bad. It takes like 48 hours.
Does it?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty.
I thought the point of it was quick. Like they tried to get Tuco with the they put it in
I
his.
thought Ricin was pretty quick.
Well, in Breaking Bad, it takes like 48 hours, and
Okay.
he's like, it would, the blame would not be on him.
Have you watched the one where they do the shots in the Mexico tequila?
Yes.
Yeah, brutal.
What's in that?
Whatever's in that.
Whatever's in that.
The chocolate is poisoned with whatever.
Gus Fring used.
Took to Mexico to poison the
cartel.
Yeah.
That was quite an exciting episode, that wasn't it?
Oh, that's one of the best ones. Yeah, brilliant. So they're all coming over, and then they're trying this thing, and then it poisons them, and they all fall to the ground.
So it's a 48-hour game plan. Then you're
and then obviously, I would imagine once people started noticing people are falling, dropping dead, they're going to run scared, and that's when the fountain opens up, and all these people start running out.
how big is
wounding axes. Giant. It's the giant, massive fountain. It's like the one in Trafalgar Square.
Leicester Square.
Trafalgar Square.
Oh, that fountain. Okay, right.
It's like that size, but it's chocolate fondue.
Good
Could you
lord.
imagine?
I'm trying to picture it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they all come jumping out, wielding axes.
Is this is it a mobile fountain that can be wheeled?
it's on
it can
wheels.
be wheeled in.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Of course.
It's quite a construction, isn't it? Do you think someone with food technology GCSE would be able to make this? Because it sounds like more of a design
Well,
technology
the
thing.
fountain. Can I hire you? The fountain is already made. Like there'll be a fountain like that around.
Okay.
But instead of you just replace the water with chocolate.
Poisonous chocolate.
No, but come on,
melt.
you're outside the city and you're presenting them with a gift that will tempt them to bring the gift into the city.
Yeah.
So it's got to be on wheels.
Yeah, I wheeled it in. Yeah.
But where have you got a fountain from? You've got to build it yourself, right? You can't just be like, there's a fountain already.
No, why not?
Because you're not in the city.
Yeah,
you brought a
but-
fountain from Greece.
Yeah, I just brought it across. Didn't
It happened for 10 years.
Where did he build his?
Out of wood.
Oh, ships.
From like forest, there's like forests so you can chop down trees and stuff.
All right, I'll build it then. Fine.
Okay, so you're going to build it. Okay.
Try and build it. Try and build it. Good luck.
I think
Your food
I don't
technology
need
degree.
I don't need a GCSE in design technology to turn a fountain.
It's obvious how you do it.
Yeah, the tricky part is poisoning the chocolate.
We're going back to Tankiles. Game Master's eyes widen dramatically, hands fluttering to cheeks. Oh my goodness! What an imaginative proposal, Tankiles! Let me just bow tie nervously. Roast this extraordinary suggestion.
Are we trying to be able to? Are we trying to guess who this is, or is it not?
I don't
matter?
know, but I'm trying to embody it. I must remind you that we find ourselves in 1200 BCE, dear contestant. Your proposal faces several rather significant historical challenges.
Okay.
Oh,
First and foremost, dinosaurs were entirely unknown to the ancient peoples. The concept of a brontosaurus or a titanosauria would be completely foreign to both Greeks and Trojans. They would likely interpret such a creation as a fearsome monster rather than a divine gift.
Okay.
Additionally, the materials and engineering knowledge of the time would make constructing such a massive creature extraordinarily difficult with Bronze Age tools and techniques. And egg boxes, well, those are about 3,000 years ahead of their time.
This sounds more like Claude, doesn't it? Sassy and throwing the rulebook at me.
So, warning, the proposal threatens your life as it would most likely be seen as a monstrous threat by both Greek and Trojans, potentially causing them to attack you directly. It says, please consider your approach.
Jeez.
And then it asks for Keoncles' turn. And then for you, Keon, draw drops dramatically, clutching at imaginary pearls.
Yeah. Okay.
This is. Oh, my stars and garters! Another remarkably creative proposal. I must say, you two are certainly testing the boundaries of historical authenticity.
Yeah.
Keon, whilst your culinary background is showing through quite impressively,
Thank you.
I'm afraid I must point out several critical historical inaccuracies. Chocolate was completely unknown to the ancient Greeks and Troy.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
Came from the Aztecs, didn't it?
This delectable treat was native to Mesoamerica and wouldn't be introduced to Europe until after Columbus's voyage, nearly 2,700 years later. Good knowledge. As for whatever was in those shots Gus Fring used, modern pharmacology and chemistry were millennia from being developed. The Greeks did have some knowledge of poisons derived from plants like hemlock, but nothing that could be effectively disguised in a chocolate fountain, which again doesn't exist. So this proposal threatens your life, as this creating an unknown food substance would likely be viewed with extreme suspicion on both sides of the conflict. You risk being accused of witchcraft and attempting to poison your own allies.
I'm going to be back in the stake for being a witch.
Yeah, maybe! Finally! So it says, I see we need to recalibrate our historical understanding. Let me remind both contestants that we are in the Bronze Age.
So this is literally back to the drawing board.
Your materials are limited to wood, bronze, textiles, rope, pitch, and other period-appropriate
I
resources.
think you could have built a titanosaur out of that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem was is that you chose an animal that
was too
you
fearsome.
didn't like, and that would have frightened
It
them.
would have spooked them all.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got an
You'd
alternative.
be like a nice puppy or something.
So yeah, the Trojans expect a gift honouring the goddess Athena that appears authentic to their culture.
Okay, fine. I've got one ready. Shall I?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right, Game Master. The Titanosaur was just too crazy, and I apologise. What I would like to do instead is create a giant snake, which goes on for about a mile, and it's sort of like the circumference of the snake is just big enough to fit a man in. So it's going to have like a mile long of men, sort of like
Be like a human centipede.
a little bit like a human centipede. Not a film I want to watch, but there you go. And all these men are going to be like wheeled inside this giant snake, and then they can leap out. So there's no bats involved. You can make this out of bronze and textiles and your wood. Much more sensible, and I'm sure you will agree with me that this is an appropriate gift that they would like, and I would easily be able to build this and instruct the Greeks to build it with my knowledge of C grade design technology GCSE.
How does it move?
It sort of wiggles.
No, I know how a snake moves. How does your snake, how
does it propel itself forwards?
mechanism, yeah.
Well, it's got loads of little wheels on it, and you have to have like a bloke probably like buried in the sand so they can't see him in the beach, and he just like gives it a little sort of shove like a dart, just like throws it forward, and it just like wheels right up to the gates.
Right.
I think you'd have to hope that they don't see the feet, and you'd have to they'd be standing there like one of those big Chinese dragons.
Yeah,
they'd be standing there, so there would be wheels, but the people at the back would have to sort of shimmy to one side and then shimmy to the other side to
make it look like it's moving.
to try and sort of get it to move forward.
So when the Trojan Horse came in that time,
Sure.
what did they think was like powering it?
I think they wheeled it in.
They wheeled it.
Oh, so it wasn't.
So they saw the Greeks push the horse.
Right, and they just thought it was a statue.
Ta-da!
They thought it was empty, like a little sort of, well done, you've
win.
won, here's
Yeah.
a gift, well done, congratulations, enjoy the horse. And just left it with them.
Right.
So I won't read that bit out. I'll cut to you, Keon. What are you going to do?
So we're back to wood, right?
Yeah, wood, rope, pitch.
No chocolate.
Yeah.
No chocolate. No, okay. I'm just gonna keep it simple. Just wood. I'm gonna carve. You know them Russian dolls where they get bigger, like smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
What do you call them other than Russian doll? 'Cause-
I think
they're
Russian
Russian
dolls.
dolls.
Like, yeah, I'll invent Russian dolls.
all right, I'll invent a massive Russian, like a massive one, like the biggest one is like the size of like a stadium. It's huge, this thing, and you go, this is the Guinness Book of Records. Don't say that because you'll get upset. It doesn't exist yet. But this is the biggest.
But what's going to be in the middle? Like one man.
A giant man, or just loads of other Russian dolls.
No. So it's really big, right? And they'll think, oh, cool, and they start playing it, and they'll get about 3 or 4 in to lure them into a false sense of security, thinking, oh, this is going to be so cool when we get to the last one. But actually, after like the 4th one, everyone just comes jumping out and then just like wielding axes and all of that. But it doesn't have to be as big as like Stadium. It's
That's too big, isn't it?
That's just silly. But like, it's got to be pretty giant.
Big as a house?
Yeah.
A normal house?
A normal house, a wooden house, yeah.
Okay. How many men could you guess in that?
In a house? Well, you tell me. How many men can you fit in a house?
If they were really well in, I reckon you could get 150.
Yeah. So imagine the first couple of layers are still that, and then the 4th one, off the top of it comes, and 100 men just fall.
And how are they like removing and unscrewing the things?
Like you would do a Russian doll.
Okay.
Just like pull it apart.
Are there instructions? Because they've never seen a Russian doll before. So do you think
You tell them, so you go this. You do the first one for them to show it, and then so you see, look, you turn it like this, and you might need a few people because the first one's so ginormous.
Yeah.
And you turn it, and then you go 1, 2, 3, and then they all lift it, and they go, oh, that's clever, and then they have a go, and they go, oh, that's cool, isn't it? And by which time you've run off, and then they do another one,
And it ain't so clever.
and then bam,
In your
Trojan
face.
Russian doll.
A Trojan Russian doll.
I think they're called babushka dolls.
Okay. Babushka dolls. Babushka means granny, doesn't it? Granny dolls.
Because I had one growing up. I don't know where it came from. It was called a babushka doll.
My dear Tiankeles, whilst I appreciate your creative
Oh,
adjustment...
what's his problem now?
Oh,
Jesus, what's wrong with a snake? Go on. Okay, hit me
I'm
with
afraid a mile-long snake presents many of the same problems as your dinosaur.
it. No!
The scale is simply impractical for Bronze Age engineering.
Nonsense.
And a giant serpent would likely be associated with monsters or chaos deities rather than as appropriate offering to Athena. Second warning. Your continued insistence on oversizing practical creatures puts you at serious risk. One more unrealistic proposal will result in elimination.
Okay.
Takes a deep breath. Perhaps I should provide more guidance.
Don't need it. Don't need it. Okay. Right. Do you want another go? You want me to have to come up with something else?
It explains what the Trojan Horse was. Well, so then it goes, Game Master tugs at their bow tie after what Keon suggested. Oh, good heavens, Keonkeles, a Russian doll? The concept is once again anachronistic by approximately 3,000 years.
Yeah, but I'm inventing it.
I did say you were inventing it. Matryoshka dolls originated in Russia in the late 19th century. The Trojans would have no cultural context for such a creation, nor would they understand the concept of nested figures as a form of entertainment or gift. I think you should push back on this.
I'm introducing it as a concept. That's the whole point.
So you've got a second warning. Your continued suggestions of objects from the distant future put you at serious risk. One more historically impossible proposal will result in your elimination. Let me be exceedingly clear to both contestants.
Okay, go on then. Go on then.
We need historically plausible proposals that could actually be constructed using Bronze Age technology and would be culturally appropriate as offerings to the gods.
Right.
So,
Okay, can you put a message to Game Master Claude? I hate you. You're so strict. All right, fine. I'll just make a Trojan horse. You asshole. I think you'll find that's culturally appropriate and non-anachronistic. If you come back at me on that, I will be completely furious. Full stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to accept that, hasn't it?
It's got to accept that. If it has a problem with that, then I'm going to throw my toys out the pram.
Yeah.
what are you going to do, Keon?
So I'm gonna go into the forest and find a wide base tree, like a big tree with a big trunk. Yeah. Wide one. We're gonna chop it down. We're gonna hollow out the middle. We're gonna put it on a plinth with wheels. And then all of the men are going to climb up inside the tree.
So it hasn't been laid down on its side. It's still pointing upwards.
Well, we laid down the sides when we had to empty it out, but
Yeah.
I'm going to put it back up
Yep.
onto the plinth.
Like
but,
Nelson's column.
Yeah. But it's going to be filled. The middle is actually hollow, and it's going to be all the men inside of it. Right?
Okay.
And I'm going to wheel it in and present...
it's still got the branches and everything.
Yeah.
It still looks like a tree.
Yeah, and I'm going to present it as the tree of peace.
Nice.
And go, this tree symbolizes our bond and unity and friendship, and this tree doesn't need to be planted, but it will provide good energy if you keep it in your presence.
And put it somewhere near the front doors, just so that your men can jump out and open the front doors.
Yeah, so there'll be like a little trap door at the bottom of the tree, so they can just open up.
So it's ironic that you're calling it the Tree of Peace when it's anything but.
Yeah. Or even better, they just go 1, 2, 3, and then they all at the same time push, and the tree comes down, and they all come crawling out the bottom. It doesn't matter which, to be honest.
At the top or out the bottom, it's fine. Either way works.
Yeah.
So for Tan, it said a wise decision.
Jesus, so boringly strict.
Sometimes the classics are classics for a reason.
Yeah, because that's the only one you'll let me have. That's why.
And it says, please continue. What specific features will your Trojan horse have that will make it particularly effective? And then for Keon, now we're talking.
Yeah.
A hollow tree column presented as the Tree of Peace is both historically plausible and quite clever.
Thank you.
Trees held sacred significance in many ancient cultures, and columns were indeed important architectural and ceremonial elements. Your Trojans may well have accepted this. So, yeah, very good. I look forward to seeing how this plays out. Tan, Achilles, you mentioned creating a traditional Trojan horse. Could you elaborate?
It's full of men, and you just like
He's so deflated by this. He really hates the fact that he's been reduced to just repeating the horse.
I think you've got to do something here. Like you've got to.
It's
still
just
go
a
back.
horse, I suppose, full of men.
What about like a two-headed horse that's like?
not a two-headed horse. It's got to have some sort of.
He's so over it.
It's like slightly bigger than the real one. It's got a tail that like goes around, and like it's sort of a fan type thing that pushes it forward. It breathes fire. That shouldn't be beyond anyone. It can like spit out molten pitch. That's all though. It can't do anything more than that. All right, Claude. It's not an interesting Trojan horse. It's just normal, but with a bit of spitty hot rubbish coming out of its mouth.
So deflated. You crushed his spirit, Claude.
Okay, so interestingly, it's not gone to Keon. It's asking for more from you. So it's showing improvement. A larger horse would indeed accommodate more warriors, a practical consideration.
Sure.
However, I must caution you about two elements. Spinning tail that propels the horse would require mechanical knowledge beyond what was available in the Bronze Age. They'd notice it and become suspicious. A horse that spits molten pitch presents similar problems, both in terms of the mechanism required and the suspicion it would raise.
Okay. Let's sack off those things. It's just got a normal tail and a normal mouth. It's just a little bit bigger. It's
Whatever
really,
you want. Like
it's just like a normal big horse, Claude. You know, don't worry, mate. It's fine.
Don't worry, mate. Just wanted to have some fun, but clearly you didn't. What a sad little life.
Excellent, Tankleys. Sometimes simplicity is the most effective
you
approach.
made him happy.
Oh, I don't know. He's making my blood boil, this Claude. Such a control freak.
Yeah, the original Trojan horse succeeded precisely because it was straightforward yet effective. Now that both contestants have established their basic designs, Tankules is a traditional large wooden horse capable of concealing more Greek warriors than the original, and Keonkules, a hollow tree column presented as the Tree of Peace. Let's move forward. Implementation and presentation. How will you convince the Trojans to bring the creation inside the walls? So, Tankules, your horse is constructed and it's positioned outside Troy's walls. What message or story will you have the Greeks deliver to persuade them?
I will do a traditional dance performance with one man belting out, sort of in an operatic voice, go compare, suggesting the Trojans compare the two different offerings, the Tree of Peace or the giant horse.
You get the tenor from the Go Compare adverts.
Yeah, basically a man like that to say, go compare, and they have to compare which they prefer. And there will, as I say, be a traditional dance performance just to sort of, make a bit of fanfare about the whole thing.
I'm afraid I must point out that an operatic performance of Go Compare with fanfare presents some rather glaring historical problems. Opera wasn't invented.
The Go Compare man wasn't born yet.
Singles are decidedly modern. Final warning. This proposal seriously threatens your remaining life as it introduces... bloody hell.
Okay, I'll just have a man banging a drum, like, over and over again, like one of those lunatics in a football stadium. Dom-da-dom-dom-dom-dom-dom-da-dom-dom-dom-dom, until they just get bored of it and either shoot him with an arrow or get the horse inside.
You square.
Yeah, you absolute square, Claude.
Much better. A rhythmic drumming ceremony is indeed historically plausible. The persistent drumming could serve both as an attention-grabbing ritual and a psychological tactic, becoming increasingly irritating until the Trojans feel compelled to take action. While somewhat simplistic, this approach has a primal effectiveness to us. So, Keon, how will you present the trio piece? So you said you want to...
Well, no, I've got a better idea now. So, you know the song... I'm not going to sing it because I haven't got a good singing voice. You've got a good singing voice.
Well, so.
You know the song by Minnie Riperton, Loving You is Easy Because You're Beautiful?
I don't actually. I don't really know music these days.
Stop it. It's not these days. That's an old song.
Is it an old song?
Loving you is
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do know it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do.
I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a woman with a nice voice to sing that, and we're gonna sing that song because it lures you into a false sense of security because you think that it's like, oh, this is a nice song, and then suddenly we hit them on the break and everyone jumps out.
Okay.
So I just think it's a really good song to represent kind of what the tree is all about.
The calm before the storm.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've just taken a bit of liberty and I said, I will invent the song Loving You is Easy Because You're Beautiful. I'll get a woman with a lovely voice to sing it to the Trojans. I am perfectly capable of inventing this song during this time period and everyone will love it. Because if it says, that song wasn't written for 3,000 years,
I've written it.
I'm going to punch
I've written it.
I don't know what is going on with this. Like, I didn't change the prompt that much, but
Okay.
it is like...
It is being
not-
draconian
It
today,
is not
it?
having any of it. No, whilst music certainly existed in the Bronze Age, crafting a modern style love song like Loving You is Easy Because You're Beautiful introduces yet another anachronism. The musical structures, harmonies and lyrical concept would be completely foreign.
Fine. Just some
Final warning.
Just some nice
Traditional Greek music.
traditional Greek peaceful music. Fine.
What's that one called that goes ding 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 diddle-diddle-ding ding 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 diddle-diddle-ding ding 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 diddle-diddle-ding ding 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 ding.
And they all start like doing their little Greek dance. Didn't they go around? They all link arms and
Yeah.
they go around the circle. They can do that. We can do the dance around the tree.
Yeah,
They
perfect.
link arms and in a circle round the tree and do a little Greek dance. Yeah, love it. Shout out to Rico listening. He would love this.
Much better.
Much better, is it?
A traditional Greek circular dance, like what would later be known as a kirklos or sirtos, accompanied by period-appropriate music, is historically authentic. Now, the stage is set for the fateful night. Both contestants have their strategies ready. Tiancles has crafted a traditional, larger wooden horse with a persistent drumming to annoy the Trojans.
It's so dry. It's like one of those buskers who plays a tin whistle, just one note over and over, till you pay them to stop.
And then Keoncles has created a hollow tree column, presented the tree piece, accompanied by a dance. As the sun sets over the plains of Troy, both creations stand prominently outside the city walls. The Trojan council gathers to debate these unexpected offerings with their long-standing enemies. For Tiancles' horse, the incessant drumming has indeed begun to irritate them.
Surprise, surprise.
Several are arguing they should either destroy the horse or bring it inside to stop the maddening rhythm.
Just get out of my sight. Just get rid of, move it.
For Keoncles' tree, the solemn dance and music have drawn curious onlookers. The concept of a peace offering is appealing to many Trojans tired of a decades-long war. So after heated debate, the Trojan Council decides to accept Keoncles' tree of peace.
Yeah. They didn't want to get that awful drumming inside their city for some reason.
The symbolism resonates with the war-weary citizens, and the humble nature of the offering seems less suspicious than the imposing horse. The tree is brought into the central square amidst celebration. Not all are convinced by Tiancles' drumming strategy. The horse remains outside the gates as night falls. So there you go. I mean, it is saying, what's your next move? But...
I think the next move is get your men out and cause uproar.
Yeah.
So it's asking you what your next move plan is. So
Go home and sulk.
I think so, yeah. Just stand and watch what happens and shout, "You'll be sorry." I shout, would you prefer a titanosaur or a snake?
Oh dear, Tiancles. Screaming threats at the Trojans completely undermines the deception. This outburst immediately reveals both your hostile intentions and the connections to this wooden horse. I'm afraid this impulsive action has confirmed the Trojans' suspicions. They quickly mobilize their forces, surrounding your position. Arrows rain down, and despite your attempts to flee, elimination.
Ooh.
Tiancles has been eliminated.
Has it made them suspicious of what might be inside the Tree of Life?
Your final action revealed the plot and led to your capture by Trojan forces. The Game Master turns dramatically to face Keoncles. Meanwhile, as night falls on Troy, the Tree of Peace stands in the city's central square. the celebrations have died down and the citizens retire to their homes, feeling a sense of hope for the first time in years. Keon, your warriors remain hidden within the hollow tree. What is your strategy for emerging and taking advantage of your position inside? So I'm thinking you just say cause absolute havoc.
Like what they did in Troy.
Burst out and cause mayhem.
Cause mayhem, yeah. It's not really a peace tree after all.
What about shouting, fuck peace?
Can do that, yeah. We'll get cautioned for swearing and get disqualified, though.
Well, you've already won, surely, if turns out.
Yeah, like, what was the... What?
It was who could build the best horse.
Right. So I'm in. So we carried on now. This is like we're in extra time now.
Yeah. Extra time when one team's already out.
Yeah.
Well, that was direct, if not particularly subtle. Your warriors burst forth from the hollow tree with their battle cry, catching the Trojans completely by surprise. The shock of betrayal is perhaps as devastating as the attack itself. A tree of peace transformed into an instrument of war. The Greek soldiers swiftly secure the main gate, allowing the rest of the army, who had been hiding nearby rather than truly departing, to pour into the city. The element of surprise proves decisive. While there is resistance from the Trojan warriors who scramble to defend their homes, the strategic position remains secured within the gates. By dawn, Troy has fallen and the decade-long siege ends. Not with a horse, but with a tree. Keon is victorious. Yeah, and it's given a rather long epilogue. It's the Dendrian deception, rather than the famous Trojan horse. The hollow tree design influenced Greek architecture. In the end, both contestants demonstrate that history turns not on grand strategies, but on patience and presentation needed to execute them. Thank you for playing PastMaster. Perhaps next time we'll explore another pivotal moment in history where modern knowledge might reshape the past, if you dare.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got to say, well, first of all, congratulations, Keon. The better design one in the end.
Oh, there you go. So that's what I see in food tech.
I don't know, I'm not convinced that food tech played the key role there, but I think Claude needs a bit of a kick up the arse there. He was too.
Claude needs to lighten up.
Yeah, he was too dry, draconian, too punitive.
Needs a bit of a sense of humour. Like obviously, like certain things went real back then. We're just this is not a game about accuracy.
It's a game about invention, imagination, and
just messing about mainly.
But it's I think when he said that the snake was beyond Greek engineering, I think that was nonsense. I think they could have built a titanosaur.
If you think about some of the things that they actually did build in that time,
and a long snake is well within their scope.
Maybe not a mile long. I mean, that was
where.
Did you say a mile long? Yeah, that might have been
quite
like
long.
100 meters, maybe.
How many men could you get in that? Maybe 50?
Yeah.
100 meters. Way more. Think of like a 100-meter track when you're running.
And then just people
Line
standing
everyone up. That's a lot of people.
But they'd be lying down inside the snake. They wouldn't be upright.
are they crawling? Are they like
They were like flat.
Oh, I was picturing them standing up.
Yeah, like a Chinese dragon. No, I was thinking lying down like a snake.
Yeah, you wouldn't get as many then.
So 50 men in a 100-meter snake.
That'd be really uncomfortable.
It would be unpleasant.
Imagine being like you go. Is there one entrance or two?
There's like a mouth and an arsehole.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to be the person in the middle because you got to wait. It's like when you're on a plane and you don't want to, you want to be close to the front or the back, and if you're in the middle, it's like, do I get on the back or the front? You're like,
yeah.
I was like, hurry up and get your bags down, and the guy in front of you's farted, and now you don't want to crawl forward into the fart. You get
yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant, but I think sometimes you got to roll your sleeves up and get in the snake.
So, any guesses as to who Game Master was embodying?
He had a bow tie. Was it the scientist played by Richard Attenborough in Jurassic Park, as it was last time?
I've already asked it, and the answer's no.
Okay.
Was it Dr. Livingston?
No, I thought it might be like Doctor Who or something with a bow tie.
Yeah. Who does wear a bow tie?
But no. The curtain falls and the mask comes off. Throughout our little historical adventure, I've been channeling none other than Bill Nye, the science guy.
Right, okay.
Who's that?
I think he's a sort of like an American science guy.
What,
He's like
current-
education. I think he's quite old-fashioned. I think he's probably like from the 80s or 90s or something.
Fine.
Yeah, he's like an educational
Science
communicator person.
That's not a particularly interesting cultural person to be, but anyway.
Bow tie adjustments, the enthusiastic explanations, the dramatic reactions to scientific inaccuracies. Passion for historical authenticity. I wonder if, because it was Bill Nye the Science Guy, he didn't let you get away with shit.
Maybe.
Whereas if it had been like somebody else.
Dr. Seuss or someone, it would have been just, well, see what you want.
Yeah, green eggs and ham were not available in those times.
I mean, I would ask who would play you in the film, but surely just Brad Pitt and
Eric Bana, maybe.
Should have thought so.
A chaotic character like the Joker might have embraced your wild ideas.
Interesting.
Gandalf might have been more open to magical. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe plant a little seed of seriousness and it grows into a mighty oak of obstinacy. And
that Keon will then hollow out and fill with men.
Yeah. My dream.
Weird dream. A tree filled with men. Yeah, what do you say?
It is.
Oh, God. Wow, that was an interesting one.
Yeah,
Good fun. All good fun.
good, clean fun.
Now I know what I need to do if I ever have to defeat the Trojans.
Not that. Oh, no, you did win.
I did win, yeah. And I learned a couple of things. I learned about the origin of Achilles' heel. And I learned about what a Trojan horse is and why it's called that. So I've had a very educational experience today.
Win, win, win.
Yeah. And I won the game, so, couldn't be happier.
Well, congratulations. Any shout-outs or anything?
So I've got a shout-out for my friend Chris in the West Country, who says he's slightly addicted to AI at the moment and inspired by PastMaster. His kids now demand AI-generated choose-your-own-adventure-style bedtime stories.
Nice.
And to give you an example, Noah's series of stories about playing Roblox with his mates, and he sent us a picture of him, Chris, riding a giant farting hippopotamus called Thunderbottom. So
A Trojan hippopotamus.
possibly a Trojan hippopotamus that blasts out volcanic farts. And perhaps more innocently, Toby's latest one is about going to an animal museum and eating ice cream, which I think sounds like a lovely day out. So thank you to Chris, Toby and Noah. Big shout out.
I've just asked how the farting Trojan hippopotamus has fared. And no.
Red card.
No, you're not allowed it. He's pointed out several critical problems with this.
Good
So,
Lord. This
God.
guy is just not permissive at all.
No.
Okay.
Well, please get in touch with us on our socials, PastMaster AI. Follow us on Spotify or Apple.
If you are interested in hearing about the upcoming episodes of PastMaster, do sign up to our newsletter. Do tell a friend about the show and let everyone know what a good time you have listening.
And tune in next time for more PastMaster adventures.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.